Have you ever sold a strangle but been worried about the upside being breached because it's essentially a naked call with undefined loss to the upside, but you don't want to buy a call to limit the losses because you think that's a waste of premium? Well, this is a different kind of strategy that you can use, and with the ThinkOrSwim platform using sequential orders, it can really shine and automate the trading or your risk management, I guess you can call it. So the strategy is basically if your strike price gets breached, you buy 100 shares, and then if the stock retraces, you sell those 100 shares immediately so that you don't participate in the downside while it runs back down. And it's a really neat strategy, and I'll show you exactly how this works, and we even do this on Tesla. So this works on volatile stuff as well if you want to mitigate your potential losses. Now, I'm going to just go ahead and go 35 days out, and I'm just going to do 20 delta strangles here. So it's a pretty aggressive, I think, going that high. So let's say I did the 625, and then where's the 20 delta? The 1150 call. And if you trade options, you know you get that combined credit, and in this case, you're getting 36 or $3,700 in your pocket. But as you know, Tesla is very volatile, and it can move pretty fast. And maybe you are worried that our short call might get breached in case Tesla jumps up. So what you can do is you can set a stop limit order to buy 100 shares at that strike price. So once it passes that strike price, you buy 100 shares, and then your max loss to the upside is canceled out because you own the shares. Now, the issue with that is that now you have 100 shares. So what happens if the stock drops back down? You don't want to participate in that drop down, and that's why ThinkOrSwim is just awesome, because you could do something called sequential orders. So first off, to set this up, we're going to start by buying 100 shares at the strike price that we want. Or actually, we're going to set a stop limit order to do that. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to click buy. We're going to go over to the order type, change it to stop limit. The stop limit price, where this order is going to be executed at, we want this to be at our strike price plus 50 cents. So it gets breached, that's okay. Once it gets past 50 cents, we're going to go ahead and buy 100 shares. And then you see why I chose to add 50 cents in a second. So next up, we have to change this price. What's the limit that we're going to be buying shares at? We want to make sure that we can get filled if it shoots up pretty quickly. So this is just choose a number higher than that. That leaves a little room to get a fill in. Hopefully you fill around 1150.50, maybe 1151. But ideally, you get filled as soon as it gets breached. Now, the second part is how do you protect yourself to the downside? So Tesla, what if it goes up and then shoots back down? So on the left here, what you're going to do is under advanced order, click on this, and you're going to choose first trigger sequence. And now what that's going to say is any order we put on after this will only execute after this one gets done. So now we want to protect ourselves to the downside. So we're going to sell 100 shares, but we want to make sure you put this as a stop limit order. Change the price to the strike price that we had. Put this to be something lower so that we know we get a fill. And then what happens is it'll go straight down this list and execute these if the conditions are met. Oh, one thing, do not forget this, especially if you're not going to be watching these positions. Change day to good till cancel. Actually, I would do good to cancel extended. So extended means it goes outside of normal market hours. Without that, it only trigger your orders during the market hours, but good to cancel will have it stay on for 60 days, I think it is. So how this works now is if you get breached and it goes up past 1150.50, you buy 100 shares. If it drops back down, you sell the shares at 1150. So you just took a $50 loss. And then what you can do is have this set up with even more trades. So as many times as you think Tesla might breach you, just set this up. You can set this up for like 20 iterations if you want to, so you don't have to look at this position ever. And we're just going to go ahead and put one more round just to show you how quick this is. Buy 100 shares. Stop limit. Good till cancel. Again, strike price plus 50. Make this higher so you get it fill. And now what would happen is, say Tesla goes down, you trigger this, you get out, but then Tesla shoots back up. Well, now you're buying the shares again so that you limit your losses to the upside again. So now you just took another $50 loss on this position. So remember, we collected, what was it, $3,700 for this? And we just lost $100 for being breached twice. So basically, anytime you get breached, you lose $50. But you collected so much credit that you have to get breached multiple times to get it. Now, for what I've been told, if you are playing safe at like 20 delta, 15 delta, your chain will only execute like 2 to 3 times. And if you collected more than if you collected more than $1.50 in credit for the trade originally, then you still come out ahead and you have that protection in place. So this strategy can actually be used to also protect the put side. So if your put side gets breached plus 50 cents, you short the stock, and then if the strike price gets breached again, you buy the shares back using the sequential orders. And just make sure that you change this to good till cancel so that this stays on the entire length of the trade. And it's up to you whether or not you do extended hours. I know like a stock like Tesla will gap up and down after hours. So that's kind of your preference. I think I would do extended, but I wouldn't blame you if you don't. And I think this is just a great feature that ThinkOrSwim has. Interactive Brokers does not have this. And if they did, I'd be using it constantly because I just think it's awesome. Like, I wouldn't be spending as much money buying protection to the upside or the downside, whereas I could just have a trade order set, assuming I have cash in my position or enough margin room to take the shares and take them off. And I just love the ThinkOrSwim platform. I really do. You've got to learn another tool that ThinkOrSwim has that I really love. It's the Analyze tool. If you don't know how to use that, you should definitely watch this video because it is basically the best tool that I've seen while trading options. So thank you for watching, guys. Give it a thumbs up, and see you guys tomorrow.